All right, next we have past district governor, Miss Terri Clark. And she's going to tell us a little bit about the foundation. Oh.
So, good morning.
Good morning, Terri.
Good morning.
That's my baby Waterloo. Isn't he adorable? He was just a boy, maybe 10 weeks old, and that's my sewing machine on the right of the picture. He was helping me. So we're changing up how we pay for our foundation items a little bit and having you please Venmo me directly, or a check is still fine, cash is still fine, but sending it to the club was just an extra step. So I'm trying to lighten the load of Nick. I gave everybody one of these sheets, and this is an accounting of your Rotary Foundation donations to date. And the important things on here are all of it, but the critical part is your Rotary ID is here. And that is how you can access your Rotary profile at the Rotary.org website. It's really simple. You put your number in there, they'll ask you for a password. How many people go in and have done this already? Okay, that's great. It's pretty simple. And I'm going to have Stephanie talk because she emailed me last night when she saw this, what we were doing today. And she said, well, I just signed up for Rotary Direct. Let me tell everybody how easy it is. So okay.
I had told Terri a couple months ago that I'd sign up and do a recurring gift. It's $25 a month recurring. It doesn't hurt the pocketbook all that much. And it really helps Rotary International be able to plan ahead for what gifts. I'm in the fundraising world at Humboldt, so I know how much I appreciate recurring gifts. So I just thought that I'd let all you know that when I saw Terry's name on the agenda today, I was like, oh, I want to go in there and set that up. And it literally took me about 3.5 minutes. And that was mostly typing in my address. But setting up a recurring gift, just having it take straight from your checking or your credit card, super easy, and is a really good way to compete with everybody at your table for who has the biggest total on their sheet this morning. So if you need any help with that, let me know. I'm happy to help you.
Thank you, Stephanie. You know, the fundraising people were all about competition and the bigness of the number. So the other thing on this form is when you look at your current PHF, which is Paul Harris Fellow level, that number there, if it says PHF plus a number, then you ought to have a pin that corresponds to that. Brian said he didn't think he had one. And so let me know if you don't think you have the correct pin, and I will get that to you because I found a source.
Yes.
A good source at the Rotary Foundation.
Rotary Foundation jewelry.
They
make pendants too, right?
They do. They do.
You asked nicely.
Yes. So there's this guy at the Rotary Foundation. His name is Peter Deutschman, and I've talked to him a lot on email. And one time he said he was going to be out of the office for a while because he was going on paternity leave because his wife was having their second child. And I said, oh, how old is your first child? And he said 3. And I kind of went, oh, okay, then. I was 3.5 when my sister was born. And, being an only child is pretty cool. And I thought so. And it only lasted for 3.5 years. And then there were 4 more after me. So, you kind of get over it after the first one. So anyway, I checked in with Peter every once in a while about how the sibling rivalry is going. And he mostly says, yeah, you were right. So I said, my sister and I get along fine now, but it's been several decades since she was born, so it's okay. So the next thing on here is recognition points. Recognition points accrue when you donate to the Rotary Foundation. They cannot be used to make yourself a Paul Harris Fellow plus 1, 2, 3, or 4. They are points that you can use to make someone else a Paul Harris Fellow, should you so desire. And so the Paul Harris banners aren't up, but if you saw them, you'd see a lot of people you don't recognize on there because when the GSU team was here from Vietnam 20 years ago, I made all of them Paul Harris Fellows. And when my nephews were born, I made them Paul Harris Fellows. Penny is our newest Paul Harris Fellow in our Rotary Club.
How exactly did I get my foundation points?
By donating money. because
But
it,
that goes to Polio's fellow.
yes,
Yeah.
but it,
Here's what we get.
Double count, right?
but it double counts
Okay, so
It
if I
does.
donate 1,000, I get 1,000 for Paul Harris and 1,000
points, yes. And it's very confusing, I know, but I know that's how it works. And so those points that we have, and we, a few years ago, we gave vocational awards and we made those vocational awardees a Paul Harris Fellow. And so that's the way that, that you can use those. So if you see this sheet and you think you don't have the right pin, or you know some people or a person you'd like to give your points to make them a Paul Harris Fellow, then just write it on the sheet, write, their name and whatnot, and give it back to me, and I'll organize the correct pin for you, and I'll get those forms generated. My gift to the new Rotarians of the club is I make all of them a Paul Harris Fellow. The newest people, the paperwork hasn't come through, and I learned something brilliant yesterday, that I don't have to mail the forms, I can email the forms, which no one ever told me. All these years I've been doing this. And so I wrote back because some had gone astray and they should have been posted by now. And they said, you can email these. And so I did. And then I said, can I email all of them? And they said, yes, you can. Yes. Okay. So this is going to go much more efficiently now. I like that. Marty and I are also both members of Rotary Direct, whereas we have some money taken out every month and to go to, well, I guess you aren't yet. We'll fix that. We'll fix that. Okay. We can fix that. So if you are contributing through Rotary Direct, please raise your hand. That would be you, Stephanie. Okay. Thank you very much for doing that. And it's, you can still buy things at Final Friday. I mean, you don't have to stop just because, but it's a nice way. And like Stephanie said, it's pretty painless. So Dustin's pictures of Evanston. Yes, Dick.
Never don't donate.
Thank you.
Request society?
Questions?
Were you gonna talk about the request society?
Well, I wasn't, but I could. Okay, because you have a nice pendant.
You want me to? Yeah.
Yes, you could. That'd be good.
So.
You wanna come up here?
Yeah, I can do that.
Oh, no, he's got you on. So he's following you with the
Oh,
camera.
it's following me.
I'm following, but the microphone
He
is up
really
here.
wants me up here, apparently. Okay. So one of the other ways that you can give beyond yourself to Rotary is making a designation within your estate plan to give $10,000 or more upon your demise to the Rotary Foundation. It's a very simple form that you fill out and send in, and then they send you really nice jewelry and like a plaque for your desk and those sorts of cool things. And if you say, I hate the pin because it pokes holes in my clothes, then Terri Clark might get you a pendant, which is from Peter, which is what I just recently got. So I would encourage people to, in addition to giving to the foundation now, but also make a commitment toward giving to the foundation after you're finished here on this earth. So yeah.
Thank you. I like to have shills in the audience if I didn't know.
The distinction with the Polio Plus Society too.
Yeah. So the money that when you set up Rotary, if you set up Rotary Direct, you can designate that your money goes to the annual fund or that it goes to Polio Plus. The money that goes to the annual fund, half of that comes back to our district in the form of district grants and different things after 3 years. But in the meantime, it's used for the World Fund, which goes to grants and all sorts of other things like that as it's donated. The Polio Plus Society, which our district started a couple of years ago, is a commitment, not just the commitment, but the commitment and the money of at least $100. Sorry, at least $100 to Polio Plus every year. And so we got, which I'm not wearing, my red bracelet and a pin and a certificate. And Bob Rogers, who is our brilliant district Polio Plus Society chair. He's also the zone Polio Plus Society chair. So he covers like the western part of the United States and a little bit of Canada and Hawaii. And he is a polio survivor, and he is a great resource about what's going on. He sends out a monthly update. You get that? Weekly. So we get a weekly update. And I don't know that everyone gets it, maybe not, but we can.
Would you be interested in
hearing about those updates?
Okay.
One person?
There was recently a case of polio in New York, our shores, our country. The worldwide vaccination effort that Rotary started and that the Bill and Melinda Gates is matching dollars 2 to 1 that we donate. CDC is in on it, WHO. And we've shrunk the number of polio endemic countries down to 2. But we have to be vigilant. We have to keep vaccinating everybody because honestly, how far away is polio from us? One plane ride. That's right, one plane ride. And that showed it. So the vaccination effort has been monumental. Sadly, in Pakistan, many healthcare workers have been murdered while trying to do the polio eradication. With polio, the polio vaccinations, a lot of places are also saying, well, since you're out there vaccinating for this anyway, how about, a measles vaccine, take some other vaccines along. So it's a huge, huge public health effort all over the world. And we are so lucky here because, okay, I'll tell a little bit about my Rotary story. Years ago, I was a registrar for a big zone meeting down in San Diego. And we were meeting between 2 buildings, and I had all this stuff to tote around because things weren't so electronic that long ago. And so I was lugging my stuff behind me, walking from one hotel to the other. And at the other hotel where I was going, they had a big rotary wheel balloon, big inflatable balloon. And this young kid, I don't know, 10, 12, one of those kids, I wish I'd gotten his name because he's probably famous somewhere now. He fell into step with me. And he says, where are you going? And I said, I'm going down there. And he said, can I help you carry anything? No, I'm good. And he said, what is that? And so I said, it's a Rotary wheel. It's our organization. And he said, what does Rotary do? And I said, well, we do a lot of things, but our signature project right now is to eradicate polio. And he said, what's polio? Now, that's what we want to hear everybody say, what's polio? Because I just thought it was really brilliant. So I explained a little bit about it to him, and he, was fortunate enough because he got vaccinated when he was a baby. How many people remember their first polio vaccination that was on a sugar cube? Yeah, so that's how it was. I grew up in Southern California, and in the summers we couldn't go out. We couldn't go to the pool. We couldn't go to the park because polio was around then. And I remember when I got my first vaccination in the cube, and I didn't, and it was nice because it wasn't a shot, so that was an upside. But my mom was so excited to get it to us. Well, I think there were just 2 of us at that time because that meant we could really, go out and have a summer and a child. Yeah. I think she was just trying to get rid of us. That was probably the case.